Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. It really is getting late in the day. It's approaching food time, approaching feeding mojo time. All these things come together. It's also approaching, I'm nearly out of wine time, so we need to open another one. That was finishing up the dregs from yesterday. I've nearly had enough of filming today. I've done 3 bonsai videos today. I will post one today, which I've processed. That's actually working now. The other 2 I will store away to post sort of later, so that I've got a little backlog of stuff to put on the other channel. As we're coming into the time of year when I can do things on the other channel, I want to try and get that channel going a bit better than it's been neglected for a while. I mean, okay, there's nothing much to film in the winter on the bonsai or the garden, and that's just how it is. But I'd like to, you know, it's late winter, early spring now, the garden's coming back to life, the decking isn't, and the bonsai are also, we've got bud break on many of the deciduous trees, so it's the time when that channel can start coming back, and I need to push it a bit more. So on this channel, the Orchid channel, I'd like to say there will be a bonsai video posted later today. What is it? Thursday. And there might be another one, there won't be one on Saturday, I'm out all day, possibly Sunday, and then perhaps another one early next week. And that's the 3 that I've done. Yeah, then you know, I'll be doing some more as I go along. Yes, so I'd like that channel to sort of get a bit of a move on. It's been in the doldrums, and YouTube will take notice of that, especially if people wander across from this channel to have a look. Even if you're not that interested, it would be nice to just go and have a look, and, you know, have a little bit of a look, and you know, do a thumbs up. All those sort of things help a channel, and that is a very small channel. In comparison to this one, that one is tiny. You know, we're only, I think we're about 1,300 subscribers. So not a lot at all compared with the 1,700 and something or other on this channel. Thank you very much, by the way. Right, so what we're doing on this, which is a bonsai video, we need to do it quick before I run out of wine at this time of day. That's an offence, running out of wine. Right, I will turn this over. I did say that we would do some work on this relatively quickly. I'm determined to get this growing well. Now at the moment, it was not an expensive plant, so I'm willing to take a bit of a risk if you think about it. Now in the pot, we've got a little bit of crocking in the bottom, so we've got some bark, and the rest of the media is basically moss. Now I'm not going to take all of that moss out, but I do want to get quite a bit of it out because I don't know how old it is. And with moss that can make a lot of difference, because as it gets old it, you know, becomes more acidic, and it also holds a lot more moisture. Now Masdevallias need to stay damp, not soggy, damp. And the older the moss gets, the worse that gets for staying wet too long. So these roots that are down in this part of the world, I'm not that fussed. They will either be okay or they won't. But it's these round the ring, it's these round the top that I'm interested in, because they're the ones that are liable to branch out, and their growing tips, you know, are still active. And also, we've got a lot of roots around the top of the plant hanging in the air. And a lot of these have got root tips. Well, those root tips are going to fail. Now, where this has come from, might have had very high humidity, and they might not have failed. I don't run with really high humidity anymore. My humidity stays at what is a reasonable level for the majority of the plants I've got. Not all of them may be, but the majority. So we've got most of this old moss out now. I'm not worried about getting every single bit out. I just want the majority of it out, which I think we're sort of getting there now. We're creeping up through this ring of roots now into the moss that's round the base of the plant, which is good. I didn't think I'd be able to do that, but that means that these roots that form the ring round the plant, the tips will now get into new media, which is good. But I'm not going to push my luck and force that issue. I'm just seeing if I can get any other areas where if I pull it out at the bottom, the top gets released, like there. It's just happened there as well. So we've managed to get another section of roots. Look at the root tips here. Yeah? So those roots are now capable of being able to grow on, and that's what I want to do with this plant. I want it to grow on. So we've got rid of most of the old moss, not all of it, but the serious majority of it. Now the sphagnum moss that looks green on the top, that's algae. It's not come back to life. We all used to think it was zombie moss, didn't we? And sometimes it actually was the genuine thing. I did have in the other place, with the high humidity, some dead moss that did actually start to grow. So we did get the genuine article, the genuine zombie moss. But I haven't seen that for a long time. I don't have the humidity here. Right, so that's all I'm going to do. I'm not cutting roots, I wanted to get the worst of that old moss out. So what we've got now is a plant that was potted here. It formed a ring of roots around the top of the pot. So I've just found another bit that's allowed me to get some more moss out. That naturally happens, but I've realised that over time that Ignea doesn't like to be deep. Why do you think there's all these aerial roots? Why do you think these bits are pushed up and the roots are coming up above the base of the plant? Look at these roots all coming out. Base of the plant's down here. These roots are growing up here. And that's why I'm potting this a little bit different. So I'm okay with the amount I've got out, so I just found another little lump that came out. Every lump that comes out frees up a bit from this top section, which frees up some root tips to get into some new media. Right, stop fiddling, Roger. I'm starting to damage roots. There's a couple of roots have come off. So that's the plant that I'm going to repot, and we are going to do something different. It's something that I used to do quite a lot of. I haven't done for a long time, and I shall clear up this and we will come back with the pot and some media, and it will be different. In fact, there's only one plant that it can compare with in here, and believe it or not, that's a peony. There's your clue. I'll be back. Okay, so this is what we're up to. How long since you've seen me use a clay pot? Used to have all my Cattleya types in clay pots and several other things as well around the other place. But there's a couple of peonies in clay pots, but apart from that I don't use them anymore. But what do Masdevallias like? They like a cool root run. Evaporative cooling, clay pot. I've got some big chunky stuff in the bottom because there's only one drainage hole and I don't want it getting blocked up. I've got some moss that's not soaked, there's a reason for this, and I've got some of my bark. Now the basic mix for the plant is going to be some moss and some bark. So I'm just trying to get the fluffy stuff off the top because I want that separate. So we've got some moss and some bark. That's our basic mix. And we'll sit our plant in because I want to see how deep it is, because this bit's important. It needs to go deeper than that. So we'll take some out. These roots down here, they will get into whatever as and when they choose. So that's the basic potting down there. you'd think I'd have enough, but I haven't. So we'll grab a bit more. Put a bit more moss in with it. But as you can see, we've got some quite big holes down there. Now the idea is that the moss is relatively evenly distributed. Yeah, I'm just wiggling, I'm not jamming, just wiggling because I need these gaps filled up. Some orchids are quite happy with air gaps in the media. Masdevallias, no, they need the gaps filled up. So you need to either wiggle, or if you're in a plastic pot you can tap the sides. Tapping the sides of a clay pot, you're liable to break your fingernails. They don't tap so easy. They don't give in. Right, now the thing that I'm going to do different is that, as it is now, that moss was dry. So what I'm going to do now is water that. And I've got some water separate here because my normal watering dish down here has actually got feed in it, and that's for tomorrow. So we'll put that in there. That's my, and then we'll pour that through back into the saucepan. And what's going to happen here is that some of the moss will soak in some of that moisture. But it won't be soaking wet. It'll only be damp because I haven't soaked it. Normally with moss I pre-soak it. I don't want this media absolutely soaking wet. So that'll do. Now the bit that I'm going to do that's different is I'm going to put fluffy moss around the top of the pot. And that's going to keep those roots hydrated and very, very humid. So all of those root tips that were in the air are now in very loose moss. It's not compacted, it's very, very loose and light and fluffy. But it's also bone dry. So how do we water that then? Ideally what I would need now is a sprayer, but I haven't got one freed up at the moment. I've got one that was last used for weed killer. It hasn't been rinsed off properly, so we won't use that. But what we'll do is we'll flick water on it like that. So it's not getting soaked, it's getting damp. Now there's a tiny little bit of feed in this water to give the plant a little bit of a boost. It hasn't been soaked, it's just been hydrated. Now all of that moisture that's gone into that moss, some of it's very wet and some of it's only just wet. That will distribute evenly now and spread itself around so that this moss is quite wet but not soaking wet. And the fact that it's light and fluffy with lots and lots of air, it doesn't matter that it's up round the base of the plant. Now all of those aerial roots are now in something moist, but they're not compressed in a media, they're light and fluffy in that moss. And I'm hoping that that's going to be happy for this plant. So there we go, something a bit different. Now I'm all wet. So's me tray as well. Never mind, it'll dry off eventually. Right, it's nearly tea time now, so that's the fourth video I've done today. But please bear in mind that there is another channel, the link's in the description. It's called Roger's Garden and Bonsai, and it's where I do my garden and bonsai videos. It was deemed important and practical to actually separate those videos away from the orchids. When I used to merge them all together in one channel, some people used to say, well, I'm not really interested in that, I'm only here for the orchids. Well, now in the main, that's what you get on this channel. And if you are interested in any of the other stuff, you can go to the other channel. And it would be appreciated if you pop across to that channel, and whatever the latest video is, do a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. And if you're not that interested in that channel, don't set notifications, but you can still subscribe. Yeah? And if you don't set notifications, you won't get pestered every time I post a video. So that'll help that channel get noticed again, because YouTube's virtually forgotten it because nothing much has been going on. And there will be more and more going on as the year progresses. So be appreciated if you could pop across, do a thumbs up, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And just pop across every now and again. Most of the time when I post a video over there, I will mention it here, that's a replacement for not having notifications set and getting pestered. You'll get a sort of warning shot on this channel, which is what most people come here for. Fair enough. Right, so that's what we've done with that. Hopefully that's going to work, and hopefully this plant will progress. It's got new growths, it's got buds pushing on, so I've got plenty to monitor to make sure that it's not set back in any shape or form. I can watch these new growths as the leaves open up. Yeah, there's plenty of them. I can watch, we've now got our second bud open, so we've got 2 blooms open now. There's plenty more buds to come. I can watch those progress, so we can keep our eye on it and see how it does. And very soon we will have my seed trays with no holes in. I don't know what you call them, I suppose they're still seed trays. And the capillary matting will arrive. The seed trays are already here. The capillary matting, bearing in mind when I ordered it, they've taken 5 days to get it in the post. Hopefully it'll be here over the next few days. So probably next week we will start putting the matting in some trays and getting some of the plants set up. Instant humidity, cooling, evaporative cooling from the matting itself, and it should help the cooler growers feel happier. Time will tell. But my air at the moment in here is relatively dry for some of the orchids. That will replace that quite adequately without adding loads and loads of humidity into the general atmosphere of the main grow room. So it'll be localized, and the plants that are dealt with in that way are those that need it. It won't be all of them, but it'll be a good few. Right, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. Coming up, what's today? Thursday. Not sure what I'll be doing tomorrow. Saturday I'm out, well, I've got to go and get Hannah tomorrow, so from sort of early afternoon I'll be out on the road. Saturday we're off to Wisley. Whether I can do a Sunday chat or not, I don't know. We shall wait and see. So, but Hannah's down for the weekend, so most of my time is spent with Hannah. We'll probably do some gardening on Sunday of some description. Perhaps we'll rip a bit more of the decking apart. Weather dependent. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.